Insta, we are here live with the great man, Mr. Jim Kwik, the world's leading brain and memory coach to superstars all over the world. We are going live for our recession recovery program over here on Facebook. So you can join us on Facebook. We're also going to be live here on Instagram, so stay tuned. Jim, if you jump onto this live and just request to join, then I'll get you in here.
Okay, let me change my speakers so I can actually listen in a headset. And
nice, man.
That would fit.
Got Mariah. Got Lucky in the building. Insta, what is going on? Adam Bliss, good to see you. Julia Vander. Yuvan, good to see ya. What up, what up, what up? Here we go. Jimmy Kwik. Yes, sir. Okay, there we go. Mariah, can you angle that for me somewhere there? I said, how did you do that? You just not. Right, it's got some serious superpowers. All right, let's go. So you could do.
All right, let's do this. Yeah, I'm all good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you loud and clear.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
I got you see the time, right? Perfect. I want to say hi to everybody who's watching on my Instagram right now and having a conversation with my friend Jack here. Talk about becoming limitless.
Facebook, welcome. We are going live for our Entrepreneurs Recession Response Program with the absolute icon and legendary human being, my dear friend, Mr. Jim Kwik. Now, to frame up today's conversation, I'm just going to talk about Jim's, Jim's been doing what he's doing now for decades. He is world renowned for this. He's releasing a new book right now called Limitless. You can check it out at limitlessbook.com. There it is right there. Anything this man says, listen to. Anything this man writes, read, right? And so if you think you're a slow learner, if you think you can't read fast enough to keep up with everything that you need to know, if you find problem solving difficult or you're just not good at it, you feel like you can't deliver a presentation without a script, or you're not good at maths or whatever it might be, what Jim helps you to achieve is to upgrade your brain so that you can operate with complete focus and concentration, go from being a slow learner to a super powered learner, and discover your true genius, the superpowers inside of you. We all have them, and Jim helps us to unlock them. So Jim is the world's leading brain and memory coach. He's worked with literally the top movie stars, athletes, from Will Smith to Elon Musk to the Marvel cast, including Hugh Jackman, icons of business. And we are super excited to have him here today, Mr. Jim Kwik. Thank you for joining us all the way from New York City.
Hey, thanks for. It's good to connect with you again, Jack. And
good to see you.
Are you in Sydney, mate?
I am in Sydney, mate. You might even be able to see the Sydney Opera, Sydney Harbour Bridge right there.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm very much in Sydney. Jim, let's start at the top. We've got half an hour together. Let's start at the top. How do you see the current economic environment that we now find ourselves in? There's obviously heart-wrenching difficulties. There's obviously a lot of uncertainty, and undoubtedly some silver lining that leaders often find throughout these times. How are you viewing what's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the heart of Manhattan right now in New York City, so I'm getting a very interesting perspective from what's going on here in the financial capital of this country, and I know we're going to talk about recession-proofing your brain. Like, what can you be doing when you're physically distancing yourself and these kind of challenges. And what I know is we can't always control the external world, but we could always have control over our internal environment and our internal world. You might not always be able to influence the economy, but you could take care of your own personal economy. It's not always can't always affect policy in healthcare, but you could manage your own healthcare and healthcare of your own family. And so I really do believe now more than ever, Limitless is not just about speed reading and memory improvement. This book is about reminding you who has the power to regain your sovereignty, regain your agency, That difficult times, they could diminish us, difficult times can define us, or difficult times they can develop us, and ultimately we decide. I actually start this book with a quote from a French philosopher that says, life is the C between the B and the D. Life is the C between the B and the D. And what's B? B is birth. What's D? D is death. And C is choice. So we always have a choice on where we put our mind. We always have a choice about our own motivation. We always have a choice on the methods that we're using, the behaviors every single day. And it's a series of choices, sum total, that have gotten us to where we are. And I think collectively we can make choices. So when we come out of this, that we could be as well off as we can, you know, in all the areas of our life. And so looking forward to digging deep into these strategies.
I appreciate you, brother. This is a message the world definitely needs right now. I love how you put that recession-proofing your brain. Obviously, the world is cocooned right now, right? The planet is most people are taking a pause and taking a breath and all of that sort of stuff. So let's talk about that. How do individuals develop their superpowers? And I understand Limitless, we're going through a framework of the 3 M's, right? And so why don't we start at the top and talk about mindset, particularly in the context of the next 3, 6, 12 months and beyond?
Yeah, so let's do this. So there's 3 parts to the framework. I want everyone to think about an area where they feel trapped, where they feel like they're not making progress, where they feel like indeed they have some kind of limitation. And we can apply this towards your business. We can apply this towards your brand. We could also apply this towards your body, your relationships, anything that's important to you. Where you feel like you're in a box, a metaphorical box, where you feel held back. The 3 forces that keep you in that box, and I call it this is the limitless model. And 3 forces are, and I want you to picture, and you could draw this out, 3 circles that overlap, like a Venn diagram. Like imagine Mickey Mouse with 2 ears and a face, and they intersect. And the first one is your mindset, and your mindset is what you believe is possible, what you believe is what you believe you're capable of, what you believe you deserve would fall in that circle of your mindset. And so let's say I give you the methods in this book on how to read faster, how to remember names, how to memorize sales scripts and client information, product information, you know, lightning fast. But you believe, your mindset is you have a horrible memory. You believe you know, that you're too old. You believe that you're not smart enough. That's going to affect your results in terms of the methods. It'll keep you in that box. So the first part is you got to get your mindset. You have to unlimit your mindset. So I take people through a process of unlimiting, meaning it's a process of removing barriers and constraints in your life, because the good news is most limits are learned, and that means most limits can be unlearned also as well. Like for me, I was, you know, had my head injury, I had learning challenges, a teacher called me the boy with the broken brain. That label became my limit, and it put me in that box because I wasn't born with that label. And so in what areas do you feel labeled? And so the second area, the second circle, is your actual your motivation. And your motivation is your drive. And also just really quick, there's an echo on your side that people are talking about on Instagram because they could hear you. I'm using headphones.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. I was just thinking exactly the same thing. Have we got ears that I can put on?
And I'm just going to go through it for everyone that's here. But the motivation is this. The challenge is with the lies of motivation. People think you get hyped up and excited in the moment, and then you're excited about making change, and you don't make change. I'm talking about sustainable motivation. So the key to motivation and really sustainable drive is a 3-part formula, and this is the motivation formula. And it's your P times E times S3. P times E times S3 is the key to overcome procrastination. It's the key to unlimited action, if you will, because the evidence of motivation is somebody's doing something that they weren't doing before. And so the key is P stands for purpose. And so you don't have to enjoy the thing that you're doing. If you want to be motivated to work out, it doesn't necessarily mean that you enjoy it. Like for me, I have my morning routine, and there are 10 things I do every single morning. One of them is take a cold shower. I don't enjoy cold showers. I grew up in the Northeast. I despise the cold. I do these ice baths challenges where I'm going in ice, a tub of ice for 5 minutes on Instagram. Yeah, but I still do it, and I never miss it, because the P in the formula of the motivation formula is purpose, meaning you find your reason to do something. And if your reasons are strong enough, you're going to be motivated, and you have to allow yourself to feel it. You're going to go from your head to your heart to your hands. You could have an idea of what you need to do in your head, but if you're not acting with your hands, you're not motivated. Check in with your second H, which is your heart. So allow you to feel the benefits that come from it. So for me, I take cold showers, lowers inflammation, resets my nervous system. Also gets me to do difficult things, because I think it's important to get yourself to do difficult things, because it exercises your grit. So it could show up when you have to have that difficult conversation at work, or when you have to be uncomfortable. And so that's the P in motivation. The E, P times E, is energy. Because what I did was I went back, I was like, okay, if I want to build the ultimate motivated human being, if they just have purpose to do something, will they always be motivated? And I said, no. There are times when they won't be, when they're lacking energy. So somebody could say they are motivated to work out, they could have all the reasons of why and the benefits and the pain if they don't work out, but if they're not, but maybe they didn't sleep 2 nights in a row because of what's going on in the world. They have anxiety and sleep issues, and they're not going to be motivated to work out. So in the book, we do a whole chapter on the 10 keys to unlocking sustainable energy. Everything from the best foods, optimizing your sleep, and 8 other things. And so then my mind went like this, is like, okay, you're building the ultimate motivated human being. They never lack motivation. If that person has a purpose to do something and they have energy to do it, will they 100% all the time do it? And the answer is no. I could think of another exception, is if that thing seemed too big or it's too confusing and unclear, they will not do it. Meaning some people have a goal of finding their soulmate and spending the rest of their life with them, living happy, after. That won't get you there. And some people have this, this goal of having the perfect body or building the next, $1 million brand. That's way too big. So P times E times S3. S3 is small, simple steps. What's the smallest, simplest step you could take? Because what will demotivate you is having a goal that's too big and too intimidating, or it's too confusing. So what is the smallest step you could take where you cannot fail? And so, and the reason why is it requires very little effort. It requires very little energy. So the ultimate motivation formula, sustainable, P times E times S3, purpose times energy times small, simple steps. And then finally, the last part of the framework that we put in the book, in the Venn diagram, are your methods. So you have the mindset, you have the motivation, and you have the methods. And the methods are where the mindset is what's possible, the motivation is your purpose, the methods are the process, and so I could teach you how to read 3 times faster, how to remember names, how to pick up a language, right? But if your mindset is, oh, I'm too stupid, you're not going to get the result. Now, watch this. Where mindset crosses over with motivation, you have, I'm going to give you 3 I's now. Where mindset crosses over with motivation, you have inspiration. Now, there are mindset speakers, there are mindset books. One of my favorite books on my shelf is called Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. Amazing. And then there are people that speak on motivation. They're motivational speakers. There are motivational books. Where they cross over is this area of inspiration. And there are inspirational speakers, inspirational books, inspirational movies. But people get inspired, but they don't do they don't know what to do because they lack the M, with the other M, which is the methods. Now, if you have the mindset and the methods, you know what's possible up here and you know what to do. That I is ideation. Ideation just stays an idea. You know what's possible. You know what you're capable of. You even know the methods, but you're not doing anything because it just stays an idea. So that's where you're ideation. And then finally, but you're lacking the motivation to do anything. Finally, where the motivation crosses over with the methods, that area of crossover, motivation and methods, you have implementation. Implementation. You're motivated and you know what to do, the methods, so you are implementing. The challenge is you're still stuck in that box because you're only going to be able to achieve what you believe you're worth, what you believe you're capable of, what you believe is possible. That will be your invisible ceiling. Now, where all 3 of these things come together, mindset, motivation, and methods, that's the 4th I, which is integration. Integration is just who you are. This is the limitless state. Now, this model is not only, I focus on the book, Limitless, on accelerated learning, because I think if there's one skill to master today, especially today, it's our ability to learn faster. You know, it's your ability to be able to, whole industries and businesses are disappearing overnight. It's your ability to adapt, to retool. That's what makes you valuable. Even before what's going on right now in our world happened, jobs were still going to automation. We're being disrupted by artificial intelligence. And so what's not? The ultimate unlimited resource we have on planet Earth, the limitless resource we have on planet Earth, is human potential. Right? It's the human mind. There is no limit to your creativity. There is no limit to your imagination. There is no limit to your human determination, right? And so we're talking about, in this conversation, for your series about upgrading your brain so you can upgrade your business. You could upgrade your brand. You could upgrade your business count. So I know this is a financial conversation, but this is the treasures for all of your life. The faster you can learn, the faster you could earn. Because nobody who's watching this is paid purely for their brute strength. It's your brain strength. It's not your muscle power, it's your mind power. But when we're talking about technology, more people upgrade their phones and their apps than they do upgrade their minds. And this is the most powerful technology. The challenge is your brain doesn't come with an owner's manual and it's not user friendly. So that's why I wrote this book, to show you how truly powerful you are.
I absolutely love that, mate. And for those that are drawing along at home, you're going to end up with a Venn diagram that looks like that, which is absolutely beautiful. Jim, you talk about knowledge isn't just power, knowledge is profit. It is a wealth creation tool in today's day and age. Talk to us about that and how you've seen people, engage in accelerated learning, people develop the mindset, the motivation, the methods, and the business and or career results that leads to.
Yeah, I think no longer are we in the agricultural age, the industrial age, where, again, it was based on physical prowess. Now it's really your mental fitness, your mental acuity, your ability to solve problems as an entrepreneur or whatever your profession is. Your ability to solve problems, your ability to make good decisions, your ability to think critically. But it's challenged nowadays by technology. Technology is driving four forces that are really creating it's holding you back in a way. It's not creating it, it's more amplifying it. So the four things to be aware of as you're progressing and you want to lead and you want to catch up, keep up, get ahead. Number one, there are four digital ones. Digital deluge. This is the information overload. Too much information, too little time. It's like you're drowning information, but you're not taught how to swim. You're taught at school what to learn, but not how to learn. And so that's why in the book, we have chapters on speed reading. We have chapters on advanced study skills. The second, four horsemen of the intellectual apocalypse, if you will, digital deluge, digital distraction. Every ring, ping, ding, app notification, social media alerts, it's training your distraction muscles, and you wonder why you can't have a conversation without losing your train of thought. You can't read something and still remember what you just read, because most people can't do that anymore. And so we're training our distraction muscles with our behaviors, and technology is driving that. With every dopamine fix, it's training us to be distracted. Second, and that's why we train focus, like a full chapter on how to develop focus and concentration in a world full of distraction. The third super villain or horseman, if you will, is you have digital deluge, digital distraction, you have digital dementia. And this is where you're outsourcing your brains to your smart devices. So it's an external memories drive for you, right? It keeps your to-dos, it keeps your calendars, it does simple math, it keeps all the phone numbers. Like, how many phone numbers did you know growing up? Like, all of them, right? Like, how many phone numbers do you remember now? Like 2, 3? Yeah. Well, and you could, you're right. And here's the thing, I don't want to memorize 200 phone numbers. But isn't it concerning that we've lost the ability to remember one, or a passcode, or a conversation we just had? I believe two of the most costly words sometimes in business are I forgot. I forgot to do it. I forgot to bring it. I forgot that meeting. I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot that conversation. I forgot that person's name. Every time you say those words, you lose time, you lose credibility, you could lose trust, you could lose a sale, you can be hurt a relationship. And so memory will actually, will make you money, and so to be able to memorize client information, product information, proposals, sales rep, now we're in the expert economy, right? You're getting paid for your knowledge and what you provide here. And so memory is very important. So digital dementia, that's why the biggest chapter in the book is on memory. And then finally, the fourth horseman, if you will, the digital deluge, digital distraction, digital dementia, is digital deduction. And digital deduction is basically saying that, and I'm not saying technology is bad, by the way, like technology allows us to have this conversation. Technology allows us to connect and to educate, to be able to be inspired, to be able to learn new things. But I'm just saying technology is a tool for you to use. But when the technology is using you, then who becomes the tool? And so digital deduction, which is the fourth horseman, is basically children right now, when they're being tested, they don't have the analytical abilities of previous generations, because technology is telling you not only what to think, but like literally just how to think. And so we default ourselves to being told what to do, and what to think. And so they're not, children right now, we're not exercising our logical abilities, our ability to rationalize, our ability to critical think. And those are superpowers that are extremely important in today's day and age. And so, and that's why we do a whole chapter on critical thinking, decision making, and creativity, right? Those are things that make you human. These are things that aren't going to be outsourced to a computer or automated. And so the goal is, all of these things are muscles. And if you want to recession-proof your brain, you need to develop these innate superpowers. And the challenge is school taught us what to learn, what to think, what to focus on, what to remember, what to study, but not how to learn, how to think, how to focus, how to remember things, how to study. And I think nowadays you have to be able to pivot. You need to adapt. You need to outperform, outthink. You need to learn new things. The half-life information is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So how do you cocoon when we're here? I'll give everybody 5 quick things you can do while you're cocooning. Let's talk about this metaphor. If you want to come out of this, smarter, better, stronger because of it, I would say that we're in a cocoon. And metamorphosis, think about how accurate this is. Like, we're going through a metamorphosis. We're going through a life cycle, right? Where we want to come out transformed like a butterfly. And while the beauty is in the butterfly, the growth happens in the cocoon. But when we're cocooning, we're alone with our thoughts. We're alone with our doubts. We're alone with our fears. We're alone. We could feel loneliness, right? So how can you use this time, to invest? Because the truth is, we all don't have the same level of income. We don't have the same level of network and contacts. We don't have the same level of education, but we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? 86,400 seconds. And it's how you invest that is how you're investing both in your today and also your tomorrow. So here are 5 quick things I would give people while they're cocooning. And if you want to come out stronger and just better off because of it. And here's the challenge is, the first one is clarity. Use this time to self-reflect. Self-awareness is a superpower. And so use this time to reevaluate and reassess what's most important to you in life, what's most important to you in a career, what's most important to you in a relationship, what's most important to you in anything, right? And once you have your values clear, then make sure that your actions are aligned with your values. Otherwise, you're always going to be self-sabotaging. You're always going to have this push-pull. And so this is a nice reset, and I'm not saying don't, the second C outside of clarity that I would say is care. And I don't just mean physical hygiene. We all know that we should be washing our hands and physically distancing ourselves and sanitizing things. Physical hygiene is one thing for care, but also personal, like I'm talking about mental hygiene. This is the challenge with media. And I think technology is good. It's just how it's used, right? And technology is like fire. Fire could cook your food or it could burn down your home. It's just how you utilize it. Same thing with media. I think it's important to know what's going on in the world, but how many of us know we are overindulging in fear? And you know why? Is because your brain gets hijacked. Your amygdala gets hijacked because it's programmed to focus on what could threaten you, because that's your survival. But here's the thing. At any given time, you could focus on 1 billion different things. Your brain primarily is a deletion device. It's trying to keep information out because you would go insane. There's too much information overload. What gets in are the things that you put attention to. Kind of like Instagram, right? to our friends who are watching on Instagram or on Facebook, if you like and comment on every cat post, the social media is going to show you in your feed more cat posts because there's an algorithm. Well, your mind has an algorithm. And if you just focus on the news and all the dark things that are going on, then all of a sudden that's all you see because that's what's going to be in your news feed. That's what and here's the thing, because you can't focus on everything and you'll focus on that, but what are you not focusing on? Possibility. What are you not focusing on? Things you can be grateful for. And so that will keep us blindsided. So I'm not saying don't focus on what's going on. I'm just saying know what's going on, but gauge it, but then be a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer, think about it, it just reacts to the environment. And as human beings, we react to the economy, we react to what's going on in the world, we react to the weather, right? But the difference that makes the difference is more identifying with a thermostat, because a thermostat doesn't react to the environment. A thermostat gauges the environment, but then it sets a temperature and then and it affects the environment as opposed to the opposite, right? And you could set this temperature or this goal or this vision or this dream, you know, and then you imagine it, you see it, you feel it, you believe in it, and you work daily for it. And so I would say the second thing you do, you have clarity, you have care, and take care of yourself. And in the book, I talk about 10 practices and routines I do in the morning to be able to optimize my self-care, especially for my brain. Third C you could do while you're cocooning, not only get clarity and use this time for self-reflection, because the solitude gives you that time to build that awareness, not only care, but third C is contribute. One of the best ways to get out of fear is to serve other people, right? And then and the question is how can you use your time, your treasure, your talent to be able to add value to what's going on, even if it's just picking up the phone and FaceTiming, you know, your neighbor who's elderly, and just being, you know, contribute in that way. And so, you know, for us on Instagram and Facebook, we're doing these live student programs, right? Not charging anything, but kids are out of school, so I'm teaching them the skills I wish I had back in school: how to focus, how to remember, how to study better. But how can you contribute in a unique way? For this book, when people go to limitlessbook.com, how do we contribute? We're giving author proceeds to build schools from Guatemala to Kenya, you know, Alzheimer's research, because my grandmother passed away of Alzheimer's, right? So I had learning challenges and brain, you know, with my family. So those are the things I want to contribute to. You know, for this also, I just filmed a 10-day program on how to learn and read and focus, and I'm gifting it to everybody when they pre-order the book. But that's my way of contributing. We're also doing a 4-week book club because there's 4 sections of the book, 1 per section a week when the book comes out, you know, this month. And I'm just gifting it to everyone who pre-orders the book, right? So that's the way I feel like I can contribute. So you have clarity, you have care, you have contribution. 2 other C's that you could focus on while you're cocooning. Another one is this thing like capabilities. Like what do you want to learn? You have your to-do list, but what's on your to-learn list? Right? You learn, earn, so you can return, going back to contribution, right? But what do you want to learn? Now what skills do you want to develop? Because you shouldn't at this time, don't downgrade your dreams to meet this current situation. Upgrade your skills to meet your destiny. You know what I mean? And so skill development, what are you reading right now? When we're talking about capabilities, what are you learning? What's on your to-read list, your to-learn list? You know, is it another language? Is it learning? I think if there's one thing to learn, it's learning how to learn. Then you can apply that towards marketing, money, management, martial arts, you know, anything, music, everything gets easier, right? And so that's why I'm so passionate about being limitless. And then finally, outside of that, the 5th C, I would say, is be creative. What I mean by that is people don't know this, but, you know, it was during this, you know, there are other plagues, you know, other times throughout history. And when we had a great plague, you know, it's when Shakespeare created, you know, Macbeth and Arthur and Cleopatra and King Lear, like amazing, right? He had to physically distance. Now notice I'm saying physical distance because that's what it is. We're still being social, right? So what I'm concerned about is not physical distance. I'm concerned about people mentally distancing themselves or emotionally distancing themselves. And that's where you have mental health and other challenges. So I'm saying physical distance is one thing. You can kind of test, you know, a relationship. But with technology right now, we can still be social. You know, we can still, don't have to be emotionally distant, mentally distant. But what are you going to create? Sir Isaac Newton had to socially distance himself. During the Great Plague in London, his university was shut down. He had to go home. Sound familiar? And when he was home is when the apple fell on his head and he came up with his theory of gravity and motion. So be creative. How are you going to use this time? You've always said, oh, if I had the time, I would learn this. If I had the time, I would write this or create these videos or however you're going to express yourself. You have time. All right. And even if you're saying you don't have time, you're putting yourself in this trance. And this conversation is about transcending, ending the trance, ending this mass hypnosis through marketing or media that we're not enough, or the hypnotist, how we're hypnotizing ourselves, saying, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good. Your brain is like a supercomputer and your self-talk is a program that will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. If people at home truly understood how powerful their mind was, they wouldn't say or think something they didn't want to be true. And that's how powerful your mind is. Not that you have one negative thought and it ruins your life any more than eating that one donut ruins your life, but it's the consistency. So those are your 5 C's. You get clarity on your life, your values, you put some time into care. You also develop some capabilities, you contribute, and also you create. And so when we emerge out of this cocoon, we could have, what I want everyone to do is just fast forward 6 months from now or a year from now. And I want you to look back at today or this story. What's the story you're going to tell your family and your friends? Not about what was going on in the world. What was going on with you? Did you use this time to get bitter or did you use this time to get better? Right? Difficult times, I've said this so many times, difficult times, they can diminish us. These difficult times can define us, or these difficult times can develop us. Ultimately, we decide. And that's the ultimate power for any individual, for any organization, is their power of choice. That any moment you could choose your mindset, you could choose your motivation, you could choose the methods, the things that you're going to do. So don't limit the possibilities, to fit your mind. Expand your mind to fit all the amazing possibilities that are out there. That's limitless. Limitless is not
between B and D.
Yeah, limitless is not about being perfect. It's about advancing and progressing beyond what you currently believe is possible. And it's getting over that trance, and really, your life is like that cocoon, that if cocoon is broken by an outside force, then that life ends. But if that cocoon is broken by an inside force, then life begins. Great things begin on the inside. And everyone watching this, you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't care about these things. You have greatness inside of you. You have genius inside of you, and the sky's not the limit. Your mind is the limit.
Jim Kwik, you said before we went live that we could riff on this for hours, and you were absolutely right. We could, and we will. We have Tamara Turner says, "Ooft." Jeff Stubbs says, "So interesting." Michael Darby says, "Great framework." Tamara Turner says, "Oh my God, I need to read this book." Ken Lee says, "Great chat, guys." Everyone's asking, where do I get the book? Where do I get the book? Jim, tell us where we get the book. So, team, what you're going to do, you're going to go to limitlessbook.com. Even just this landing page, watch the videos, read everything that Jim's putting out on the landing page. Get this book. If this man writes something, read it. If he says it, listen to it. You also get a free 10-day course when you pre-purchase the book. Yeah, the book comes out. Sorry, I was going to say that the book comes out in a few weeks. It comes out this month. And even Amazon, they might actually release it early because of what's going on in the world right now. And I purposely did not delay this to the fall when people suggested to do so, because I feel like this book is necessary now. It's a reminder that you have power. When you gift this book to somebody, it's a reminder that they're better off than they think. If you want to feel wealthy, because this call is about wealth, and just take a moment and count all the things you have in your life that money can't buy. You don't have to wait for a greater life to feel grateful. Feel grateful and you'll have a greater life. You cannot feel fear and gratitude at the same time. And chronic fear, the reason I bring this up about chronic stress and overload and distraction, it shrinks your brain. Chronic stress shrinks your brain. Chronic fear actually compromises your immune system, which makes you even more susceptible to colds, to flus, to viruses. And so the goal is to control your mind, to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. And Limitless, when you go to limitlessbook.com,
You get all the information there. You get instantly, for people asking about Audible and video, this 10-day course is like the audio video course that I gift you for free. So you don't have to wait for when the book comes out. I want this book to be the most read book of 2020, not the most bought book. Some of you are really good at buying books and it sits on your shelf and it becomes shelf help, not self-help. You know, but I want you to be good at reading these books. So that's why this 10-day course teaches you the limitless model. I'll show you the 3D diagram on video and I'll walk you through it. I'll show you how to reverse engineer your limiting beliefs, and I'll teach you the keys to motivation, to activating your energy, to finding your life purpose, and I'll teach you some of the basics of speed reading and memory, and that's my gift to you. So then when the book arrives in a little bit, you are primed to read it. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm going to do a 4-week book club for everyone that pre-orders the book, because I want you to finish this book. There are 4 sections to this book, and I'm going to spend a week on each section. So I'm going to teach you how to memorize it, and more importantly, apply the things that you learn. Because this is, my thing is, when I was talking about when you're cocooning and being creative and contributing, you could learn something here, how your brain works, and you could come up with an idea that can completely change the world. When this butterfly emerges and it flaps its wings, there's a butterfly effect, they call it in science. That right now there's a butterfly effect in a negative way, where it's spreading, you know, this virus, it's spreading fear. But you know what also? A butterfly flapping its wings in Sydney could have, in complex systems, could create a tsunami across the world. And we could create this tsunami of change, because not only is fear, you know, like spreadable, so is kindness, so is love, so is wisdom, so is compassion. And when we flap our wings, we could put that on. And all the stuff I just mentioned, like kindness, love, compassion, that stuff is free. Like sprinkle that stuff everywhere. Let's set a butterfly effect in motion on that, in that way. And the other thing is, when a butterfly flies up in the air and it lands on a tree and it's up really high, you can't even imagine. If you were that high, you'd be scared, right? You'd have anxiety. But that butterfly is what you want to be right now: calm, clear, confident. And the reason the butterfly all the way up in the tree is so calm and confident is not because it puts its trust in the tree branch. It's calm and confident because it puts its trust in its own wings, right? And I'm saying you have wings. I'm not even being like Pollyanna and just think positive. I'm saying you don't know. I do a whole chapter here on your limitless brain in terms of, if you want to improve your confidence and self-esteem overnight, you study what you really are and remember who you really are, and your confidence will come overnight. So amazing. You know, Jack, you and
Mr. Jim Kwik,
when we go out, and you know, when I was last time, I said we grab food and everything else like that. We geek out over this stuff like mad, you know. And but it's amazing, your community. I appreciate you for making this available, and I appreciate all the comments here on Instagram and on your Facebook page and everywhere else here. And you know, my goal is, because I grew up with a broken brain, learning challenges, and you know, all these issues. Like, I want to build better, brighter brains. You know, no brain left behind. That's my mission. And this book is my first book in almost 3 decades of teaching this. And so I put that you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on your, you know, on what I did and read every book on the planet on this, went to every event on it, because I did the work for you and I put it in this book. And I hope you'll give yourself of this limitless gift.
100%. Jim Kwik, I said at the beginning of this interview that I'm incredibly grateful for the message you're spreading. Mate, I love your energy, and thank you so much for being a beacon of light during a time where the world needs it most. For those of you watching again, head to limitlessbook.com now. Do yourselves a favor, grab this. Mr. Jim Kwik over in New York City, thank you so much for joining us.
Jack, thanks for the good work you do. And I wish everyone who's watching this on all these different cameras I have in front of me that you have set up for Instagram and everything, and Facebook. I wish your days be full, lots of life, lots of love, lots of laughter, and always lots of learning. You're limitless. Be limitless. Thank you, my friend.
Lots of love to you, brother. Chat soon.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Jim Kwik does it again. Yeah. Now we're over on Insta. Brother, thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you, everyone, for